sometime maybe around 12 maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's live. You're live.
Okay. Thank you all for coming to our third community reading of an ancient text hosted by the Department of World Languages and Literatures and the College of Arts and Sciences here at Western Michigan University. We are pleased to have you here joining with us either in Knaus Hall in room 2452. For those of you who might be watching us over the live stream, we will be here for a little while today. If at some point in the day you feel impressed to come to campus and participate in this event, we'd love to see you. There is a website where you can actually get a map of campus that shows you the location of this building. So don't hesitate to go there. That website, WMUOdyssey.com. So please come, join us. There will be food here and drink. And if you just need a place to get a meal, come, but read when you come. Okay. We're very pleased to have with us here from the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Keith Harrett, who is Associate Dean, and he will be giving us opening welcome. Following Dr. Harrett, we will hear from my colleague here in Classics, Professor David Kutzko, who will provide some remarks about the poem, about the event that we're getting started on here today. And then I'll announce the rest of this program after we hear from Dr. Kutzko. So, Keith, thank you.
Do I need to stand there?
You need to stand where...
It's more the mic. Oh,
that's
gosh.
easier. And then...
I'm on TV. You know, I had the honor and pleasure of serving as dean for about 18 months, or interim dean in the college. And, you know, I did a lot of events. A friend of mine, when I was offered the position, said, I hope you like Fetzer chicken, and had a lot of it. But where I was going with that is I spent many times at many events such as this. And of all I did in the last year and a half, this was my favorite event when we did the Iliad last year, because it so speaks to who we are and what we are about. It's about literature. It's about language. It's about culture. It's about connection. It's about peace. It's about violence. And so I think there's so much there that, you know, we could spend hours and hours just discussing it. And I'm greatly looking forward to David's remarks in that regard in terms of contextualizing it. I think the noted language theorist Kenneth Burke described literature as equipment for living. And I think events such as this, and I don't know about you, but the role of the Odyssey in my life, I think speaks to that. I have special affection for this book, especially is it Fagles or Fangles? Fagles translation, because I'll arm wrestle anybody on that one. But I always noticed that my knowledge of, you know, classics were a little limited. And, you know, I think Mark Twain's got a great quip about, you know, classics are those things that people don't read but love saying they have read, you know, kind of thing. But a couple of years ago, through the good graces of John Martell, I picked up a copy of the Odyssey and read it. And it just moved me in ways beyond description. And from there, it was like, well, I'm here now. I should read the Iliad. And from there, it was like, well, there's this Egyptian Book of the Dead. I thumbed through that one. I was like, no, I'm not going there. But then it just embarked in my heart and life, just a plan to kind of read through many of the ancient works. Because, you know, I think, you know, technology has certainly moved us forward. But so much of what we know, I don't want to say, you know, it was the peak, you know, 8,000 or 10,000 years ago. But I don't know about you, but this continues to resonate, deeply and profoundly for me. So Rand, David, the Department of World Languages and Literatures, I salute you for doing this, because it is a singular moment and a singular time. So on behalf of the College of Arts and Sciences, we greatly welcome you, and I'll now turn it over to David.
I got it. Thank you, Dean Harrod, for your insights. Good morning and happy Veterans Day. I would like to thank my colleague of 15 years, Rand Johnson, for organizing this wonderful event. This is the third marathon reading we have put on in 4 years, and none of them would have been possible without Rand and his vision. They also would not have been possible without Fritz Klug, the classics alum, who we just can't seem to get rid of, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Also, another alum, Janae Schneider, is here, who helped also very much with the first one in getting this started. And she's been very patiently waiting for us to do an Odysseus reading. So here we go. Here's the Odyssey. Finally, we thank our chair, Molly Recchia, and the dean of our college, Carla Koretsky, and her office for their support. Classics departments have been putting on marathon readings for many years now to demonstrate the vibrancy and modern relevance of ancient literature, and to present epic poems as they were originally intended, to be recited and heard communally. Homer's Odyssey is the most popular and influential of them all. Just look at the English word Odyssey. We owe it to Odysseus, the main character of the poem, and his long, strange trip. Every movie you have ever seen about a character traveling through obstacles to reach his or her goal owes a debt to the 2800-year poem. O Brother, Where Art Thou is explicitly based on Homer's narrative, but after finishing this reading today, take a closer look again at your favorite road movie. You'll see the Odyssey everywhere, from Pee-wee's Big Adventure to the SpongeBob SquarePants movie to the Ashton Kutcher 2000 classic, Dude, Where's My Car? In the early 20th century, though, the epic poem was the domain of elite and difficult poets. Ezra Pound, in particular, who begins his cantos with the translation of a passage from the Odyssey, invented the modern epic, in which the first-person voice of the poet writes cryptically and elusively about the triumph of the male protagonist against all odds. There is nothing cryptic about the crystal-clear narrative of the Odyssey. I've always had a sneaking suspicion that Ezra Pound was forced to read ancient Greek as a kid, thought that it was cryptic because he was not good at it, and decided to take his vengeance on the world with his learned yet incomprehensible poetry. In any case, his take on epic proved very influential and led to equally incomprehensible, multiple book-length first-person hero poems by other modernists. James Joyce, in the earlier novel Ulysses, which is
Would everybody please make sure your cell phones are off?
I don't know if, did that interrupt the feed, Rand? Because it's not. Okay, all right. James Joyce, in the earlier novel Ulysses, which is the Latin name for Odysseus, also decided to write in a difficult cryptic style, because he too probably had a hard time with ancient Greek as a schoolboy. But he most definitely understood what others did not understand or chose to ignore. The Odyssey is not simply about the triumph of the one male protagonist. It is about a family, a community finding its way forward and recovering its identity. Joyce's novel begins with a young man who is unsure of his direction in life, just as Homer's poem does. Odysseus does not even appear until book 5, and it ends in the voice of a woman acknowledging the strong feminine presence throughout the Odyssey. The greatness of the poem is that Homer lets us see the triumph of all of his main characters, as Odysseus lumbers toward his goal to reclaim his family after 10 years of the Trojan War and 10 years of misadventures trying to get home. From his son Telemachus to the princess Nausicaa to Eumaeus the swineherd, to one of the wisest and strongest characters in the whole work, Odysseus' wife Penelope. And then there's the dog. Be prepared for the reunion between Odysseus and his dog Argus. It is probably the saddest moment in the history of all literature. Even the characters who keep Odysseus from reaching his goal are not unsympathetic. Calypso, the isolated goddess who longs for companionship, Circe, the witch who turns men into pigs, and even Polyphemus, the one-eyed Cyclops, who is nothing more than a lonely and hungry shepherd. No other background is needed before we start. As I said, the narrative is very clear. Nevertheless, you will find an outline of the poem in the back. This is meant simply to help follow along with where we are in the plot. Veterans Day is always a time for reflection. It is also a celebration of our country. Earlier this week, we found how divided this country is. We hope that this communal reading provides a small but meaningful opportunity for us all to come together to celebrate the essence of what a community is, and also to reflect on the past and what it means for the present and the future. There will also be cool gods and monsters and stuff. Thank you.
Among the people that I would like to add to our list of thanks would be the two office staff, coordinator and associate, Laura Large and Dylan Dolby, who not are just very competent at what they do, but they're rather cheerful too, which I always find a pleasure. We're thankful for their efforts for this event. We now are going to hear the opening lines, the proemium of this poem, in the languages, several of the world's languages. We will have Wissam Abdelaziz reading Arabic, Olivia Gabor Pierce, German. I will read in ancient Greek, Tetiana Kashmanova in Ukrainian, Tina Lei in Chinese, Dini Metro Roland in Hungarian, Pablo Pastrana Perez in Spanish, Viviane Ruolo in French, Rika Saito in Japanese, Robert Van Catalan, Lilia Vansovic in Russian, and not on our printed program, but a walk-on that we are delighted to include with this group is Jana Schulman, professor and director of the Medieval Institute here at Western Michigan University, who will be reading opening lines in Icelandic. So, readers, come forward.
Musa, dime del hábil varón que en su largo extravío, tras haber arrasado el alcázar sagrado de Troya, conoció las ciudades y el genio de innúmeras gentes. Muchos males pasó por las rutas marinas luchando por sí mismo y su vida y la vuelta al hogar de sus hombres. Pero a estos no pudo salvarlos con todo su empeño, que en las propias locuras hallaron la muerte. ¡Insensatos! Devoraron las vacas del sol Hiperión e irritada la deidad los privó de la luz del regreso. Principio da a contar donde quieras, oh diosa nacida de Zeus.
Conta, musa, aquell home de gran ardit, que tantíssim errà, després que de Troia el sagrat Alcàsser va prendre. De molts pobles veié les ciutats, l'esperit va conèixer. Molts dolors, el que és ell, pel gran mar patí en el seu ànim, fent per guanyar el seu alè i el retorn de la colla que duia. Més ni així els companys no salvà, tanmateix desitjant-ho, car tots ells es perderan per llurs mateixes follies, els insensats, que les vaques de sol, al fil de l'altura, van menjar-se. I el Déu va llevar-los al dia en què es torna. Parla'ns, filla de Zeus, des d'on vulguis, també a nosaltres.
Dis-moi, Muse, cet homme subtil qui erra si longtemps, après qu'il eut renversé la citadelle sacrée de Troie, et il vit les cités de peuples nombreux, et il connut leur esprit, et dans son cœur, il endura beaucoup de maux sur la mer, pour sa propre vie et le retour de ses compagnons. Mais il ne les sauva point contre son désir, et ils périrent par leur impiété, les insensés, ayant mangé les bœufs de Hélios Hypérionide. Et ce dernier leur ravit lors du retour. Dis-moi une partie de ces choses, déesse, fille de Zeus.
Музо, повідай мені про бувалого мужа, що довго світом блукав, священну столицю троян зруйнувавши. Всяких людей надивився, міста їх і звичаї бачив. В морі ж багато біди і тілом зазнав, і душею, щоб і себе врятувати, і друзів додому вернути. Та не вберіг він свого товариства, хоч як того прагнув. Марно загинули всі через власне зухвальство безтямне. З'їли безумні волі вони Гелія Гіперіона. Що понад нами, за те дня повернення він їх позбавив. Дещо богиня, і нам розкажи про них, Зевсова доню.
Férfiúról szólj nekem, múzsa, ki sokféle bolygót, se hosszán hányadott, földulván szent falu Tróját. Sok nép városait, se esze járását kitanulta, se tengeren is sok erős győrtelmet túrt a szívében, menteni vágyva saját lelkét, társak hazatértét. Csak hogy nem tarthatta meg őket, akárhogy akarta, mert ő nem buta vétkékért odavesztek a társak, balgak. Fölfaltak Hyperion Héliosnak pármáit, és hazatértük napját ő elrozta. Istennő, Zeusz lánya, beszélj mi nekünk is ezekből.
Муза, скажи мне о том многоопытном муже, который, странствуя долго со дня,